Hey there everybody, just Marco here with another one for you, and today I'm in Innisfil, Ontario, which is just north of Toronto, at my parents' house. I'm here for Canadian Thanksgiving, as well as an opportunity to test out this vintage lens. This lens is from 1982. It's a Nikon E-series lens. The first version of this lens came out in 1979. It was all black. And then the version 2 had the silver stripe on it. Slightly better made than the version 1. It looks a little bit large here. It's got an adapter on it to adapt to my A6700. It's a 50mm F1.8. Nikon realized it was outperforming their 50mm Nikkor lens, and so they adopted the same lens design for the Nikkors as well. And they continued using the lens design, adding autofocus to it and everything else as years went on. And they just discontinued the use of this optical design in 2022. Imagine that. So I'm really excited to test that out. All right, see how this goes.
I'm reinventing myself. I'm me and nobody else. Ooh, I can't help but smile.
My dad has helped me with countless projects over the years, and this time was no different. He was helping me customize my guitar. As a kid, I always thought my dad could do anything, and now that he's in his 80s, I still feel the same way. The backgrounds of this lens are slightly busy for portraits, but not too bad. My Viltrox does a much better job at smoothing out those backgrounds. This is my mom, who is busy making us Thanksgiving dinner, shot with the Nikon. And here she is with the Viltrox. Believe it or not, she's also in her 80s. Marmar inevitably ends up bringing her laptop. She's got to work, even holiday weekends sometimes. Here we are back in the city. Some of you may recognize this place. Fans of Umbrella Academy may know that in the first season the character Vanya lived above Acadia Books. This isn't a real New York cab about to collect on a huge fair in Toronto. It's a production called Ripple, according to this smoking area. The Patrician Grill, a favorite among location scouts for television and film. Also a favorite of ours for brunch. This is Reina, a swanky little place we like to go. And often parked outside is this, Agatham's Land Rover. Agatham is a famous architectural firm, famous for buildings like this.
Hey there, as usual, welcome to the humble studio. So what did I think of this lens? Not a large lens at all, although not much of an advantage because once the adapter's on there, it's about twice that size, but still not very heavy. Actually a fair bit lighter, I would say, than this. This is my Minolta Rocore X. Some of you may have seen this before on my channel. This is my 50mm vintage lens of choice. It's a 1.7 versus the 1.8. That slightly greater capacity for light gathering does not make much of a difference in this lens. Although one thing that does make a big difference in this lens is I found that the contrast is way better in this lens over this. And it's not because this lens is dirty or something either. These are both very clean examples of lenses from their periods, and these are roughly the same age actually. So interestingly, the reason Nikon has used this lens design so long is because it's resistant to flaring. But I did have an issue with contrast still. Those images that you saw, I didn't really do anything with them other than increase contrast. So sorry about that. You didn't get to see what I'm talking about. But overall, I found it really pretty enjoyable using this, especially for video. The clicks aren't very distinct. It's probably because of its age. The clicks have sort of worn out, and so the aperture ring is actually quite smooth now. It was a really nice lens to shoot video with. I didn't mess with the aperture while I was doing any of those shots of my dad. So the fact that this lens is a little bit prone to glare kind of solves a mystery for me. I was gifted this lens by my friend Harry. Thanks again, Harry, for the lens. Harry actually gave me a few lenses. There's another 2 lenses he gave me, as well as an E-series body. He was doing away with some old tech and asked me if I'd be interested in taking them off his hands, and I said, for sure. So I'm actually pretty excited about checking the other two lenses out as well. But yes, this lens was from my friend Harry, and I was curious as to why this was included. This is not a factory Nikon lens hood as far as I know. It's a flocked metal lens hood, so threaded. And now I kind of understand why Harry might have picked up this guy here. And it could have been a recommendation from somebody else who knows about this lens, or perhaps it was due to Harry's own experiences with glare and this lens. I haven't spoke to him about it. But this would certainly go far in reducing the amount of glare and increasing the contrast that you can get out of this optic here. I wanted to see how this lens performed, just, you know, basically as it would have arrived to a customer buying this way back when. And because I do not believe it came with that hood. So I always have fun trying out these vintage lenses. Regardless of whether or not you've seen videos about a given lens or not, you really don't know what your particular example is going to give you until you stick it on your camera and start taking pictures. Anyway, as usual, I hope you guys got something out of this one. If so, consider leaving me a thumbs up. If not, that's okay too. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of these in the future, please consider subscribing. If you've got any ideas for future episodes, please leave those in the comments below. About the subscribing thing, there's only a small fraction of you who watch my videos who are actually subscribed. I'm doing my best to increase the number of subs I've got, although it's not the most important thing in the world, but please consider doing so. Anyways, until next time, keep working to make your chosen idea a reality. Peace.